Good afternoon, madam. I hope you're looking forward to hear my presentation. And this afternoon, let me introduce myself first before I explain the aim of my presentation. So my name is Rabukawaqa. I'm a part-time student at the University of South Pacific. I'm currently teaching at Dudley High School, and I'm glad to learn so many things in this unit that can help me uh, guide my students in my workplace. This afternoon, my presentation is about the three theories which are written here: behavioral theory, cognitive theory, and social learning theory. And in this presentation, I will be discussing the difference between these theories. I will also explain its impact, and I will conclude by relating it to teaching and in learning contexts. So, episode of learning. When we look at the word learning, learning is a complex process that can be understood through different theoretical perspectives. Each perspective emphasizes unique aspects of how individuals acquire knowledge and skills. In this presentation, I will analyze a specific episode of learning from my classroom teaching experience where students was mentored in developing writing skills. And the episode involved guiding guiding students in constructing sentences and paragraphs for a short essay. While the activity itself may seem simple, the process revealed the influence of three key perspectives: the behavioral, cognitive, and sociocultural. Now, by analyzing this classroom episode through each lens, I aim to show how different theories provide complementary insights into learning process. So the episode of learning took place in my English class where I mentored students on essay writing. The task required them to write a descriptive paragraph about my village. Initially, many students struggled to recognize their ideas. They find it difficult to construct complete sentence, and also they find it difficult to maintain correct grammar. Now, through the structured guidance, practice, and peer support, the students they gradually improved in their ability to plan and write. This episode provides an excellent opportunity to analyze learning from three perspectives: how behavior was shaped, how thinking and memory were engaged, and how the cultural and social environment played a role. Now let's move on to the first one, which is behaviorism. This theory was developed in the early 20th century by a psychologist like John B. Watson and B.F. Skinner. The strategies was to apply the methods through positive or negative reinforcement, punishment, and modeling. The reason for the theory is for implementation of behavioral learning model. The behavioral perspective emphasizes observable actions shaped by reinforcement and practice, according to Skinner in 1953. Behavior is learned through the consequences that follow it, such as a reward for punishment, praising children for correct sentences, or corrections and repetition. Now, this positive reinforcement encourage students or motivate others to try harder. On the other hand, the errors in grammar or spelling were addressed through immediate correction and repetition, which reflects negative reinforcement. Additionally, I began to introduce a small reward system where students who completed their paragraphs with fewer than 3 grammatical errors received a sticker. Okay, this reward is created excitement and motivated students to pay closer attention to their writing. And over time, students began to associate effort and accuracy with positive outcomes. Now, this aligns with the behavioral principle that learning occurs through some stimulus-response associations strengthened by reinforcement, as mentioned by Skinner, 1953. Now, in Fiji, okay, the approach is commonly seen in a classroom where teachers use rewards such as praise, tokens, or even responsibilities like leading the class to encourage positive learning behaviors. Now, the students' improved writing reflected the effectiveness of reinforcement and practice in shaping behavior. Secondly, cognitive theory. Now, cognitive theory was founded by Piaget 1970 and also Brunner 1966. Apart from these two, there are other theorists who also spoke about cognitive theory. Now, the strategies used is for the lesson to be simplified and topics are revised over time, building on prior knowledge to promote deeper understanding. And the reason for it is for deeper understanding. Now, cognitive theory or cognitive perspective emphasizes the mental processes involving in learning, such as attention, memory, and problem solving. Piaget in 1970 argued that learning takes place as students actively construct knowledge through interaction with the environment. In this class episode, the students' progress could not be explained by reinforcement alone, and it also required cognitive effort. For instance, when planning their descriptive paragraph, students had to recall the details about their village or important details to organize those ideas in a logical sequence and use appropriate vocabulary. I scaffolded their thinking by asking questions such as, what is the first thing someone sees when they enter your classroom? Or how would you describe people there? These prompts help students organize their ideas into categories, setting people and activities, which made the writing task easier to manage. And this perspective shows that learning is not just about rewards, but also about internal processes such as comprehension, recall, and the ability to connect prior knowledge with new tasks, as proven by Brunner 1966. For example, students who had previously learned descriptive adjectives were able to transfer that knowledge into their essay writing. As you can see, the picture on the screen, or the diagram on the screen, shows the example of a difficult question which is revisited over time, building on prior knowledge to promote deeper understanding. This is when the child understands very well. The third one, socio-cultural perspective. This was founded by Vygotsky in 1978, and the strategies used is learning through interactions, collaboration, and cultural context. And the reason is to create supportive learning environment, making learning more communal and meaningful. Socio-cultural perspective based on Vygotsky's 1978 theory highlights the role of social interaction, cultural context, and language in learning. This was very evident in the classroom episode. Students work in pairs to brainstorm ideas before writing their individual paragraphs. This peer interaction has allowed the weaker students to learn from the stronger ones, which reflects Vygotsky's concept of zone of proximal development, or in short ZPD, which is the idea that learners can achieve more with the support of peers or teachers that they can independently. Furthermore, my role as a teacher was not just to transmit knowledge but to mediate learning by asking questions, providing sentence starters, and encouraging collaboration. The sociocultural perspective explains why students improve more quickly when working together rather than working alone. And group discussions created a safe space where learners could share and refine their ideas, reinforcing the communal values present in Fijian society. Now I'll move on to comparing the perspectives. As you can see, each perspective provides a unique lens for analyzing the episode of learning. So the behavioral explains how reinforcement and repetition encourage students to practice and improve by Skinner, 1953. The cognitive perspective highlights how students use memory, organization, and problem solving to construct their essays by Piaget, 1970, or Bruner, 1966. And socio-cultural perspective emphasizes how peer collaboration, cultural values, and teacher supported shape the learning experience by Vygotsky, 1978. Together, these perspectives show that learning is multidimensional. Relying on one theory alone would give an incomplete picture. For example, reinforcement help motivate students, but without cognitive strategies like organizing ideas, they could not have written meaningful essays. Similarly, collaboration provided social support that accelerated learning. Thus, the most comprehensive understanding of the episode emerges from combining all three perspectives. And in conclusion, to conclude my presentation this afternoon, the classroom episodes of mentoring students in essay writing demonstrates how behavioral, cognitive, and social cultural perspectives each provide valuable insights into the learning process. Reinforcement shape behavior, cognitive strategies enable understanding, and social interaction grounded learning in cultural context. So for teachers in Fiji and beyond, this analysis highlights the importance of adopting a balanced approach to teaching, one that combines reinforcement, strategy building, and collaborative learning rooted in cultural values. So those are my references, and I hope that you have enjoyed my presentation, and thank you very much.